Okay, so let's see. You said, hey Shock, put in another VOD review from the same Xerath from a few days ago. For this VOD, put more focus on laning. You feel like the Veigar was worse than the Swain, but also you know this matchup a lot better. Your question is that our team seems to be crushing up to the 15th minute mark, where we have a 5k gold lead, but we bleed this team gold lead away, where it steadily drops to 2k at the 30th minute, and the game feels like a coin toss again. Is there anything I could have done better to carry the game from mid game to late game? Okay. And if I quickly take a look at what we worked on last time, so yeah, there's a lot of early game stuff. There were also like base timings and a few things in the mid game, so I will keep that in mind. And let's take a look. So, if I remember right, last time we talked a little bit um, about your runes, like taking what's it called, like futures market instead of DMAT. So I like that you've done that. Um, I'm still not really sure about your heal. Personally, I think TP is better, and also I feel like if you needed a defensive summon versus Veigar, it'd be better to take cleanse. I do kind of understand like if you have heal and Nimbus, you do have a lot of extra survivability, but I just wonder if it's like more of a crutch for your mispositioning, and you could like maybe do a bit more with TP. So I don't know. It's not the biggest deal, but I feel like you could be a little bit greedier. I feel like what you've got is a bit too safe. Use the first Q on the wave. Don't mind that. I feel like it guarantees you a lot of priority, and then it makes it really easy to use the rest of your spells kind of on your opponent, especially if he goes for CS. Okay. Okay, so next wave comes. Hopefully look to keep putting harass on this guy. Maybe when he goes for this CS here. I mean, if you can get W as well. Get a nice WQ on him. Nice. So this is really, really good. Really good improvement from you. It's like really good timing. It was all very nice. So yeah, this is good. 230 ward. Okay, okay. Fundamentals are looking quite nice at the moment. Perfect, perfect. Okay, I'm a little excited. You definitely look for a WQ. Now, this is up to you, but in some matchups, I would go 2 points Q and then put a point at E at level 4. I don't really feel like you need your E against Veigar. I'm not sure it really adds anything for you. The only thing would be maybe if it helps you against like jungle ganks or something, but I think if you had 2 points Q here, you could maybe bully him out a bit more. And then put a point at E at level 4 instead. I think you could probably get a little bit more damage done. But you know, so far I'm liking. I feel like the lane phase is a lot better. You're using things at the right time. You're definitely like chunking him a lot lower. So yeah, overall, so far it's looking pretty good. Now, this guy has no stain left, so he's gonna start getting railed once you kind of get a bit more maybe one more point in Q, and then it's gonna be real rough for him. Yeah, nice, really nice. I mean, all this is really good so far. You're leaning the correct side. You've been harassing at correct times. There's like little things you could do better, but you know, I think you've definitely improved a lot in the laning phase. Now here I don't really understand what you're doing. I feel like right now the wave's gonna crash on the tower, so it's a really good time to harass him. You have all your vision topside, so like this is the areas you should be hugging anyway. And instead you kind of back off, and I'm not really sure why. Like you shouldn't be scared of their jungler at all, because you have all this vision topside to hug to, and you have your jungler nearby. Also, you have such a safe setup with like heal that you shouldn't die to any gank. So basically he got that whole wave for free, and I don't understand why he did that. And also here, you're just hugging to the wrong side. Well, like, okay. No, I guess, like, right now, you're actually hugging the correct side, because, like, your jungle's about to move bot. You'll probably drop your next ward bot side. They have a rally jungle. Okay. Um, but yeah, no keeping wave in the middle is good here. It makes it really hard for him to farm. Really easy for you to harass him. I think you could maybe move more aggressively. So I'd say, like, one little mistake that you may be making is that if you you need, if you want to harass in CS, you actually need to be in position to do so, right? So you just need to be a little bit further up so that when he does go for these creeps, you can always get a WQ on him. Because if he is getting CS while you have your cooldowns up and he is like low HP with no sustain, he's just getting so much for free. Like I think here, you can even just like walk at him with your E and you might be able to kill him, you know? Like you could maybe just walk up to him, hit him with an E and then a WQ, but so far he's gotten 2 creeps for free. So I think you could position like in line with the creeps a little bit better. And what I mean by that is, so like the CS they normally go for, if you just like sit in a straight line with it, or like next to it, it can make it quite hard for them to CS. And I think right now you haven't really positioned like that. Yeah, see, like he's gotten a lot of CS here, for free. Like if we just go back to where this wave starts. Okay, well the first thing is here. Like you should definitely harass him as that wave goes in. Okay, but you know it's fine. And then this next wave comes. And so you should be much more aggressive here. Like you just saw Aurelia top, which is a jungler, so you're not scared of anyone. The only person you can be scared of right now is him, because like Thresh is bot, the jungler's top, so there's no one else going to be here. So you can move really aggressively on this, but instead you're like giving him a lot of range, so he gets one creep with taking no punishment. So that's the first one. He gets a second creep taking no punishment. And all this time, like you have mana, you have cooldowns, you're stronger, you're completely safe, so there's no excuse not to be able to harass him here. Now he's gotten 4 creeps without taking any harass. And like you outrange Veigar, so it's not like he can harass the, I mean, us hit the creeps and you can't hit him. I like what you're doing with the wave though. Yeah, see, like this is good. That was really good. That was like a good punish. I like that. Yeah, this is really good. Stop his base. So he's, wow, he's actually still saying. That's crazy. So you're going to give him another creep for free. I think here you should definitely look to place a ward. So right now, you see Viego and your jungler down here. I think you should just ward a bit below the side bush here. Like, you don't have to ward all the way to the dot bush, but just some sort of ward bot side. Because I think the problem is here that you would like to be quite aggressive on Veigar. You don't really want him to be able to crash this wave. Oh, wait, I just realized I didn't have Aurelia jungle. They had Viego took Aurelia. Okay, that makes more sense. So, yeah, I think here, it's like, well, you're hugging the bot side anyway, even though you don't have vision down here. But if you had vision, it would be really easy for you to play, like, more aggressively here. I mean, yeah, this is really good. You recognize how much stronger you are. Really nice skill shot, by the way. Really nice skill shot. So he's super low. He's going to have to base. There's like a couple choices here. I think the most optimal is actually if you base right now. So there's like a couple things you can do. The first thing is, I think the best base is he should be too low to push anymore. So if you base right now, you have Futures Market, you get the Lost Chapter, and this wave pushing in will deny the entire cannon wave. And then you will come back to a stacked wave. If you... Oh, wait, you do it. Okay, nice. Nice. I mean, yeah, good base. I went too early, and then I realized you'd done it. Hey, no complaints from me. I mean, now it's really easy for you to harass. You should probably get some wards down, though. I don't really like this ward. This ward, well, it's okay. Actually, no, it's okay. There's like 2 reasons to do this ward. One is if you want to see where the enemy's roaming, but the other one is if you like want to see where they're playing like super back in the lane, which could be useful for you as Xerath. But I think it is risky to place this without having any vision anywhere else. I don't think this ward cuts it, honestly. I would probably say that that needs to be in the dot bush if you're not going to have a yellow ward. Like, if you have the ward in the side bush and then you have a yellow ward down somewhere else, I think that's fine. But if you're just warding in lane, I think this pink needs to be a bit further out. Otherwise, like, it doesn't really give you enough information. So again, I think you're, like, really... Like, at this point in the lane, I think you should be... Okay, earlier in the lane, it's more important that you use your cooldowns when they go to CS, right? Because there's a higher chance that it hits, obviously. But at this point in the lane, when you have Lost Chapter, I think you can pretty much use your skills on cooldown. Like, just use your W on cooldown and, like, spam out a lot more Qs, because you just have way more mana. But instead, it looks like you're not really punishing him when he goes for CS, and you have a lot of mana and you're not really using it. Like, he's gotten another 3 CS for free, and this shouldn't happen. Like, you have control and you had time here to where you could create vision for yourself. So you shouldn't feel like you're pressured here. And if you do, it's only because of your own mistake, really. Like, you should be completely safe to push this wave. You have both sums. You had two wards. Like, arguably they're not in great positions, but like, you know, it is what it is. But definitely here, like, you're level 6, level 5, you should have a massive item advantage. He started here. I don't think he has Lost Chapter because you would have outfarmed him, but I don't know that for sure. But yeah, either way, you're like super strong at this moment. But he's gotten like 3 creeps for free. Again, doesn't really make sense to me. Yeah, so far he's just gotten a lot of CS for free. In fact, he got mid prior, which like makes no sense. You should be the one shoving him under tower. Yeah, I mean, this is good. You have enough mana just to kind of spam these out. Could maybe be a kill. Close. Wave's in a pretty good spot. Don't really have any vision though. Yeah, I think you should be harassing way more, especially at this point in the lane. Yeah, okay, that's good. Just using, like, when you have this much mana, you can just start spamming your spells on cooldown. That's like the nice thing. You no longer need to really wait just for, you know, just for CS and stuff, because it becomes so easy just to hit him. I think it's like anytime you have your W, you can just like cast on him. This was really smart, by the way, what you did there, like going for extra auto attacks. I really like that. Is there any way you could have killed this guy for sure, though? Let's see. W, U, E, O. Nah, you just kind of missed one extra shot. But that's okay. Like, he burned both his thumbs, which is, like, basically as good as dying. And you get a really good base, so that's great. You have magic boots. You can't buy that. I mean, yeah, all this is really good. Come back to lane. I like that you pull the wave. It's really smart. He can't play the game at the moment because he has no sums. The wave's frozen. Too bad Nocturne doesn't have ult, or he'd probably be able to look for something. But yeah, this is good. This is good. He feels really pressured. Like, here, I'm not really sure why you aren't using your spells. So, like, if we go back here, it's like you're full mana, pretty much full cooldowns, but he's just, like, getting to CS creeps free again. So, I'm not sure why that is, but I think you could definitely look to play more aggressively. Yeah, I'll write that down definitely at the end. Like, the positioning could be a lot more aggressive, which I think will facilitate it. And it's like here, you're just like walking around, taking his harass, and also just like, yeah, not really using it until after. Okay, now we should go drop this pink somewhere, preferably in the dot bush. Good, good, good. I'll probably grab this honey fruit. Okay, okay. Doing everything right. You could maybe look to ult bot. I'd probably eat that crab. Oh my god, dude. Every time I say something, you just do it. Okay, so you come back to mid. This is nice looking for a snipe out of vision. Close. And your cooldowns are so low, you can literally just spam them. At least I think you should. Like, you've been keeping a lot of mana. Yeah, nice. If you can hit the wave and hit him, it is ideal. Now again, I'm not too sure what you're doing with this. I feel like... Okay, the first thing is that you actually don't have much prior to use here. Because you pushed this wave sort of late, the mid wave is already passing your tower. So you don't have much time really to use your turn. I would probably just push again. Yeah, I think you just push again. What you need to realize is that, like, the earlier you can push a wave, the more time you get. So if you really want to come down here and ult these guys, you should make sure you clear this next wave coming as soon as possible. So, like, right now, you should walk up to, say, maybe, like, right here, and just, like, queue that wave, and then you can look to ult bot. Okay, so now you walk bot. Could have been a bit faster, I think, if you cleared it a bit further up, but ultimately it's good. You push, you don't lose anything for it. Looks like you can get 1 or maybe 2 kills here. Well, that was annoying. That was a bit unlucky. That sucked. But I think it's good. I think it was a good usage there. Oh, and this guy ganked you on the way back. Damn. I think if you'd been a bit more patient, probably would have killed him. Okay, super, super low. I think you kill this guy. Damn. Okay, was fine. The wave gets pushed all the way in. Where does Viego come from here? Oh, you see him on your ward. I guess you just like you saw him, but you like didn't see him. But I think you're fine anyway, right? Unless he has ult. Oh wow, he died to red buff. I guess yeah. I guess you just it's like you could have flashed that. You could have also flashed now. So you can't just use your summons badly. And also you like saw him on the ward here, so you had plenty of chances to react. It's kind of just like tunnel vision, I guess. Again, it's a pretty bad death. Like Veigar gets a huge lead off that. I think you're still ahead, but you do lose quite a lot. Yeah, pretty good ward, I think. Yeah, now you have to be a bit more scared of him because it's like you don't have any sums. I mean, you have the range, right? Like you can keep playing from really far back. Yeah, nice. Like this is super good, where you're just like using your spells sort of on cooldown, and like look how little it chunks your mana. Like you have so much mana regen that you can just like spam these out, make it really difficult for him to play, especially when you outrange. Again, here you have prior. Kind of up to you what you use this for. I feel like hitting the mid tower is a little risky with no sums. Oh, Viego's there as well. That's good. You deny Veigar most of the wave. Did you place that ward? I'm not sure who placed the side lane ward. I think if you hadn't E'd for that creep, you might have been able to kill this guy. Although maybe he wouldn't have gone on you if you still had E. Yeah, I think if you'd had E, you probably could have turned him. But now you're really strong. You have Ludens. You can easily one-shot waves. Nice pink ward. Yeah, and once you realize it's a fight top, you start walking to this. I like that as well. Yeah, I think you could ult here and definitely help out a lot. Nice, you managed to snipe your kill. Okay, it's all really good. So yeah, that's nice. I think you could do a bit more with your priority here. So I think here, um, you could probably take Scuttle Crab, or maybe you could take the Raptors. Instead, again, like you don't really do anything. I think you could have done a little bit more. It wouldn't be the top Scuttle Crab, it would be the bot one. And actually, I don't even know if it's there, but I think it is. Either way, I guess you could have checked. Wow, that guy is crazy. Nice. Yeah, I mean, you play it really well mechanically. I guess the only... Why does this happen? I guess you could hug a bit further away. Like, you are sort of hugging towards the enemy jungler. I think you're a bit further down. Maybe this isn't as easy a play for them. Like, because if you had got hit by Everfrost, you would have died. Although it is pretty hard to hit it on a Xerath with, like, Nimbus heal move speed. I probably wouldn't stay here, to be honest. I think you just base. You don't have the resources to do something here, I don't think. You have, like, no sums, no ults. I mean, you get a kill, so... I mean, would they have gotten this kill without you? Probably, yeah. But it's nice that you managed to get a kill. I guess, like, yeah, if you really want to grieve for this, you can, but just, like, realize, I guess, how bad it is normally to be on the map with, like, no resources, like, no sums, no mana, no ult, no HP. It makes it really hard for you to pressure stuff. And I definitely think after getting this kill, you should probably just instantly base. I don't think really coming... Oh, well, if actually, yeah, no, if Aurelia's going back top, this is fine. So, yeah, no, I think that was good. So you're opting to stay on the map. I think it's sort of bad. I'm gonna get one kill. I don't know how worth it this is. I guess you kind of have to, though. Yeah, I think if you opt to stay for this wave, you sort of have to stay. I think you're right, because if your jungler's on drag, and he's like 1 HP, I guess you're lucky that you got double buffs, because otherwise you'd be super useless. Also wonder if here you kind of... I feel like you should save your E, honestly. I think you save your E for Ezreal. I think this guy is already dead. With a... Oops, did not mean to do that. The problem is here, this Ezreal gets into melee range with you. You don't have E. I mean, it's like fine, right? You win it, but I think if you had saved your E, and in general, I think you use your E a bit poorly. Like, you've used it a lot just for CS and then not had it for key people or stuff like that. Really good buy, so that's good. I mean, you're super strong at the moment. You can just keep pushing these waves. I think you should look to try use this mid prior for something, whether it's like farming a camp or something, because you clear the waves so fast. I mean, if you can get mid tower, it'd be great, but I don't feel like you can. Yeah, I feel like a big problem here is that you just wasted maybe about 2 minutes. So you come back on the map, right? So first wave of prior, what do? Looks like you just back off. Yeah, so the first wave of prior, so the first 30 seconds, you've pressured nothing, you haven't farmed anything, it's just been sort of useless. I think what you could have done here, you could either run bot and farm this wave, if you wanted a side lane, but I mean, otherwise you can stay mid. I think also you could have just like leaned in fog in bot side river, or you could have walked up to this tower and poked whoever's under it. So first wave, you can't do anything, or rather you didn't do anything. The second wave of mid prior, I think... Let's see. I'm taking my mid prior. I think you should have cleared this wave a bit further up. Like, I think you're really safe right now, and you're playing a bit far back. I think you should at least get your Q to hit all these creeps. I mean, you have your jungler right next to you, so I don't think you need to be super safe. But you clear this late. I think you should do Raptors. Yeah, I think you should do Raptors. So again, another 30 seconds where you haven't pressured anything, you haven't farmed anything. So it's like a minute and a half now where you've had no pressure on the map, I would say. You're just like trading waves, which is not the most pressuring. And then this all gets cleared out. So now it's like a full 2 minutes of having not done anything. This is good though. Like the mid wave's not there, so you can easily come bot. I think you're out. Maybe not. Oh my god, do a lot of damage. Okay. Well, I think it was good. You could have played it a little bit better mechanically, so like um I think your ult was good. You fired like one extra shot when you could just like wait for Veigar. And then I think yeah, if you hadn't used your abilities there, well, it would just mean that you have your E right now for after a spell shield. Like, okay, if he went on you now and you had E, you could probably one-shot him, because like look how much damage you do here with just your W. So I think yeah, again, maybe your E usage is pretty bad for the most part. And if you had it more often, or if you just used it better, it would convert into a lot more, I think. You push that wave. Now let's see. So push this wave. I guess you're going Shadow Flame second or Magi's, so you have both of those. You cancel your base. Stay here. I think it's okay. So I don't think there's any objective up. And it's not like Thresh can hold this. Nice. Good heal. Okay, so that was good. You get Shadow Flame. Oh yeah, okay. So you got Shadow Flame off that. So it was super worth. Nice snipe. Dude, I can hear how hard you're spamming that R key when you see this. It's so funny. I respect it. I do the same thing. Okay, so good. I think you kill this guy. I don't get why here you didn't Q with this E. Like, that's a free Q. You managed to hit the Q anyway, but again, you made it like harder for yourself. That guy's super dead. Nice, nice, nice. Now here, yeah, I think you're right to group with your team. I think it's greedy to push bot. I like that you're kind of like playing with your Nocturne here. I think maybe here though you're... So, like after this, okay, that's fine. You see Viego, so it's scary for you to face check. So they walk out. There's not really any way you can walk here quicker. I don't think. Okay. I'd probably go to the mid-wave here and just try to get some mana with your passive to make fighting this a little easier. Because like right now you're really low mana. But you could just get some off the mid-wave, I think. If you did want to stay on the map. Maybe get an E. Nice. And that's gonna get you... Oh, I forgot you don't have presence, but that's fine. Edge Eyes, I like it. Not sure about the Amp Tome. Do you need a Void? I don't think you do. No, you don't need a Void stuff. You're like the 1 AP on your team, so they're probably not going to build much MR, and the only MR they have at the moment is on Thresh. So I don't think the Void is necessary. I think Rabadons would be way better, especially because you have like Medjais and Gathering Storm. So maybe you bought the Amp Tome just because there was nothing else to buy, but I really think it should be Rabadon's third here and not Void stuff. So good, you came side lane, you pushed away. I don't think you're safer to push any further. So that's all good. Okay, you're getting some farm. We like that. You come mid, catching this. This is all fine. Nice ult. Hit every shot, I think. There you go, that guy's flash. Oh wow, I can't believe that guy eat in. Good usage of your E there. Forced him to use E, which makes it easy for you to hit skill shots after. Now, why was this fight actually so hard, though? Let's have a look. How does it start again? So you using R to kill Veigar, which is fine, I think. Or good, even. Then that guy has flash, so he gets out. Israel ends for free, so you get another kill. Yeah, it looks so good right now. This Nocturne kind of just like ran it. Nautilus also kind of entered, even though you guys would win. If he just played range. Okay, I mean, not a bad fight, to be honest. Nice, taking the Raptor. Farming the wave. Yeah, so you are building Void second. In my opinion, it's a pretty big mistake. I guess you're checking for MR now or something, but yeah. I think it's actually really, I don't know, like Void is a really good item, right? But here, Rabadons would be like god tier because you have so much extra AP from Medjai's and Gathering Storm that it's gonna be, especially when it ticks over to 30 minutes, it's gonna be such an insane amount of damage if you'd had that. But Void is like probably the second best item. I just think Rabadons would be quite a bit better. Okay, so now this happens, I think, because you guys give up the mid-wave too much. So like you're coming on the map, they get one mid-wave, that's fine. But now this next mid-wave, I think you need to be a bit further up on this. So if they get mid-waves like this, it's really easy for them to take control. And right now, like you have enough range to where you could clear this mid-wave from a point of safety. Like you can hug towards the top side, like you have your flash now. So, but the problem is that they're going to get this mid-wave for free, which means that they're going to get to walk in first, um, which makes it really hard for you. And normally that's the AD carry's job, but if you're playing Xerath, typically you're on the mid wave a bit more than the average champ. So yeah, like they all get prior of a mid. You're forced to catch it under tower, which means you're all the way back here. Whereas like Veigar is making a play up here, right? So the reason this happens basically is because the lack of contest for the midwave. Xerath is extremely good at contesting midwaves because he has a ton of range, ton of wave clear, and also he can poke the enemy team off the midwave. So you should be thinking about that a lot. That in the mid game, if you're not the one farming the side wave, you need to be like contesting the midwave instead. Okay, nice combo. I think you guys, this looks pretty good. Oh my god, Veigar does a lot of damage. Okay, he dies. I think he just base. So you stay. Now, what's the timer on Dragon right now? It's 20 seconds, 12 seconds. I feel like you could base and get here in time, probably. Maybe you can't. I mean, there's a honey fruit. Or you have to flash, yeah. I think if you flashed earlier, like right now, it'd probably flash away. I think you could have lived. It's a small mechanical error. Void, yeah, not really a fan. But you go on the rabbit arms next, so that'll be good. At least you are building the right items. It just could have been in a bit better order. So it's good. Like, you guys are contesting the mid wave now. Nice hook. That's good. Now you get a huge ult on the carries. Yeah, nice that you targeted Ezreal there. Good. It makes it really hard for him to play the fight if he's half HP. Which is 800 damage. Oh my god, that really... I think you maybe could have killed Ezreal here. So after Ezreal uses that, he like walks back into you when you still have your Q charging. I think if you'd shot your Q at Ezreal, you probably would have killed him. Looked like he was low enough. But it's kind of hard to see in the moment. I don't know what that guy's doing. Okay. Yeah, this is a really common thing. I think maybe why you're finding the mid late game so hard is like you're being so safe on mid waves that it's always giving them windows to do stuff, even though it's not their turn. Like, okay, if you look at this, right, you have all the vision here. The AD carry is stuck bot farming, and their jungler is dead, so you can't really get punished on this mid wave, unless Thresh like walks up to you. But then you can walk back, right? But the problem is because you give up this prior, it gives them the window to like walk in and take stuff. Like while you have to clear the wave. And this should be the other way around. It should be that you've pushed them under their towers, and then it's really easy for you guys to do Baron. Instead, like no one is they're not forced to answer the wave or anything, and they're just able to walk in, which is like why this becomes more difficult from a macro point of view. Pretty good ults, really good ults actually. Managed to solo kill Veigar somehow. No one else hit him. So yeah, I mean, I think you guys just shit on them in fights. You're really, really strong. Good, so you managed to push out a wave. Like it's so much easier to contest objectives if the waves next to them, so the mid wave and the adjacent side lane, if those waves are pushed out, because it means that the enemy team has to answer them, and then they kind of have to like either walk in with no vision or they have to give up waves. Just becomes really really hard to contest. Like okay, see right now where this mid wave is here and this bot wave is here, this is ideal for objectives, and this is something Xerath is really really good at. Is because he controls the mid wave so well, and also he can like one shot sideways, so he doesn't have to actually be there that long. So Xerath's extremely good at that. It's like a big bonus to the champ. You must have a just crazy amount of AP at the moment. I probably wouldn't ult for this guy, honestly. I feel like it's a bit like okay, I think even at this point, killing Urgot is not as impactful as just like making the game really, really hard for Ezreal or Veigar to play in fights. So I think you probably should have kept your ult. It does have a sort of long cooldown, so yeah, it would be quite nice. Like even if you just used it now to kind of like chunk one of these guys out while they're trying to siege, while you're trying to siege the tower. 1,000 damage on Ezreal, nice. Jeez, your damage is actually ridiculous. The Bezos Xerath build, holy 1,500. Jeez, this champ, man, it scales so well. As long as they don't have like any sustain or something. You must have done like 50 million damage this game. Yeah, it looks completely over. Okay. So, notepad. So, I'm still not a huge fan of the heal. I think a lot of the times it's like places or times that you could avoid it, but I'm not gonna write it down again. It's just kind of like, I don't know. You can keep taking heal if you want. It's definitely not. It's not bad. It's just maybe like, in my opinion, a little suboptimal. So okay, first like good things. You actually did play your lane a lot better. So you use your spells for the most part, like at good times. But the first thing, you're positioning around CS. So there's a lot of times where you position too far back, and then it makes it hard for you to actually punish him when they go for CS. Yeah, so that's like a big thing. You're missing a lot. You're giving him a lot of free CS because your positioning is too safe. You can create pressure just by, like, even if you don't use your spells, sometimes you can deny CS just with your positioning, just by like being more aggro, and they like feel a bit more scared. I think also after first base, like when you have a ton of mana, like spam your spells a lot more. Like don't just like cast them literally on cooldown without thinking about them. After first base, when you have like chapter, you can like use your spells a bit more freely. You don't have to just wait until he's in the perfect position, like to harass him on CS. I think at that point you could start to look to just like use your W whenever it's on cooldown and then follow that up with a Q. Or you could even just like look to Q whenever he walks up. But yeah, there was like a lot of times where you gave him too much. So I think, yeah, overall, like lane phase was a lot better. You could still like pressure the lane a lot more though. And again, like another thing was when you were like, I remember you came back to lane. I guess like, yeah, like realize. Oh no. Like pressure. I get no, that's the wrong word too. Recognize plus pressure with your advantage. The first thing is like when you come back to lane, you have like that last chapter advantage, and he's like a low HP champ with like no sustain. He was like 60% HP. That would be a point where you recognize you have a giant advantage and you should look to pressure really hard. Instead, you didn't really do that. So yeah, I think your laning phase, again, it was a lot better. But there's still like definitely things that can be improved. There was a couple times, I was gonna say where your hugging was a bit weird, but it's more that like that time that Veigar snuck past, you just like weren't really looking at the map at the right time. I think your base timings were actually really good, so I actually like your base timings for the most part. There's like one awkward time in the mid game, but I think it ended up fine because you got double buffs. So I don't know. I think yeah, your base timings in the early game and the mid game was quite good. The base timing where you base and like the wave was frozen, that was super nice. So that was really good. In the mid game, I think, like you said, the game felt a bit hard, and the reason was because mainly around like the waves. So I'm gonna say like mid waves and side waves. So generally, mid laner like deals with the side waves, right? And the AD carry deals with the mid waves in the mid game. But as Xerath, it's not as common. You're not super strong in the side wave, but you're very strong in the mid wave. But the main reason it's taking you so long is because these aren't pushed and they're not contested. It gives the enemy a lot of windows to like move in, make picks, like regain vision, and also make it hard for you to kind of maintain control. When you're a champ like Xerath or Zoe, having control of the mid wave is so important because it means you get all the vision control around the objective. So if you are on mid waves in mid game, like you need to contest them. There's a lot of time, like, okay, there are bad times to contest, right? Like if you contest a wave when the whole enemy team can be there, and you know, you get engaged on by an Ornn or something and die, right? Like that'd be really bad. But like there are lots of times where you can contest these mid waves, and that would stop the enemy from kind of like moving in with their prio and like retaking control. So I think you need to like really like evaluate. Yeah, I don't know, just like evaluate if the mid wave is contestable. But generally, like Xerath is super good on mid waves, and the further up you can catch, the better. So this goes for early game and mid game, but the further up you can catch a mid wave, it gives you more time after pushing it in. So again, it's like a risk versus reward. If you walk further up, there's a higher chance you die, but you also gain more in return. It allows you to snowball the game a bit easier because you can use that time to like gain control, like enter their jungle, make picks, pressure side lanes. You know, there's a lot you can do with it. I think also your mid game prior usage, maybe your prior usage in general. Prior usage in general wasn't that great. So lots of waves pushed, then nothing happened. So there's like a ton of times where you push the wave, that's like 30 seconds spent, and then you just like can't really find something to do. I will admit there was like one time I think where it was kind of hard to find something to do. I think it was like the first wave after you redeployed on the map, and the only thing you could have done really was sit in a pink ward and like pressure fog, like just like, yeah, basically be off the map and pressure people. In low elo though, people might not even be thinking about you being missing from the mid wave, but there was like, remember that 2 minute period of like 30 seconds, you could have like sat on a ward. Next 30 seconds it was like, I think you could have done Raptors. Next 30 seconds it was something like, I don't know, maybe you could have like pressured tower, done scuttle. I can't remember what it was in the moment, but I just remember there was like there's that 2 minute period where you actually did get mid waves, but then you did nothing with them. So that slows down the game a lot. And then there's also that like giant period where you just don't get the mid waves. So I'd say that's why the mid and late game feels a bit hard for you, is because it's like, one, when you're getting the mid wave, you're not pressuring with it, you're not doing something. And the second thing is that a lot of the time you're just giving it to them and then they are doing something. So I'd say those are the biggest things. There was a slight itemization thing with the Rabadon's Void, but I really don't think, like, I think and it's really easy to fix as well. Was there anything else from that game? I think for the most part your team fighting was pretty clean. I'd say just like in another general thing, I'll just put it in the mid game, but another general thing was your E usage. So I think, yeah, maybe it was more of a thing in early skirmishes, maybe like early skirmishing. Just like, I don't know, be a bit more careful. A bit more careful with it. I think there's like, yeah, some times in the early game, and I guess some of the early mid game where you kind of wasted your E and it forced you to burn sums, or, you know, it caused you to miss damage or stuff like that. So I think, again, more Xerath specific, but definitely could have done a little bit more with that. So yeah, and then I'll finally just talk about the sums thing once again. It's kind of up to you, but personally I think if you do want a defensive sum versus Veigar, I think cleanse would be better. But I also just kind of, I don't know, I think heal maybe is better for low elo, because it's like, you know, you are making mistakes, right? Like there are times where there's that Veigar gets on you and like if you don't have heal flash, like you die, right? And Nimbus. So I don't know, I kind of like it. I feel like in the long term though, maybe once you start working on your positioning a bit more and like, I don't know, just your map awareness and stuff, at that point you might want to start thinking about taking TP. But definitely for now, I don't know, I think it's fine. So to work on, feel like, yeah, it's like the lane phase in general. I think you're actually, everything before the first base was actually pretty good. I think you crashed 3 waves. I think you like based really well. You were harassing for the most part pretty well. There were some times, maybe pressure with your advantage. There were also times like harass under tower. Not always, but there were times where you like pushed the wave like early game, and then like again, it was kind of like what you did in the mid game where you just didn't use the prior. You just like let him farm the wave under tower, and then you just like didn't do anything. So to work on, I think again the laning phase. So I think your laning positioning, just in general, like more aggressive. Did we talk about that last time? I actually can't remember. Early game. I don't think we did. So that's actually good, because that means that like you've kind of got, well, yeah, like I said, I think your laning phase has improved quite a bit, or at least I think it was this game. So laning positioning can be more aggressive, and I think like recognizing advantage. So again, it's like item / level / HP, stuff like that. So realizing that you have lost chapter versus no lost chapter, you're level 6 versus level 5, he's half HP, you're full HP. There was like one window where you had all 3 of those advantage, and you didn't do anything with it, and then like punishing with that. And then, yeah, also I think after first base, like using cooldowns a bit more freely. Like there's times where you're just like full mana, maybe just sticking to like the only harass when they go for CS rule a bit too hard. And I mean, like, it wouldn't be as bad if you were positioning more aggressively, but there was a lot of times where like you have cooldowns up, you're full mana, and there are like CS you could harass on, but you're not really in position. Like you're not far enough up to hit them with your W, and then you're just not using your Qs. So I think after your first base, when you have mana, you can definitely use your cooldowns a bit more freely. So yeah, but overall, again, laning phase was much better. I was really happy with that. And then in the mid game, I think like, I guess like realizing the macro value of waves, and how to use the prio. So just like how important having mid prio is in the mid game, and also then like when you do have mid prio, how you can use it most effectively. So I think those are the biggest things for you to work on. I'm actually impressed how much your lane improved already. So I think, yeah, obviously you're like working on it pretty well. But again, I'll copy paste this to you. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And again, if you're fine with me making the replay or the VOD public, do let me know. But otherwise, thank you again. Yeah, message me if you need any help, and good luck.